And welcome back to your favorite podcast, the 101 Things Under the Sun podcast. I am your host, BrownieBits, and with me as always is the old man, Hoodrich. How are you, my friend?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you there for a second. I must have turned my hearing aid off.
Man, you gotta stop doing that.
I don't want to listen to Ethel talk.
Yeah, that's true. Ethel is a wonderful woman, but man, can she talk.
And I don't want to hear it. Don't want to listen to it. Just turn the hearing aid off, life goes away.
Well, that's one way to handle it, I guess.
I just nod and smile.
Yeah.
Nod and smile.
Nod and smile all the time. So, today I think we should do something special.
Well, I got a story, if you will.
Okay, yes. Yeah, go for a story. I'm all for it.
So, guys, yesterday, Saturday, went out on the Redneck Riviera. That's what we're calling the St. Johns River, folks.
Okay.
I just went out on a little boating expedition, looking for buried treasure along the way. Got a little bit sunburnt, and it led me onto this topic of treasure hunting.
Okay.
So we did our research, did our thinking, if you could call it that, and we got some treasure hunting stories, or like stories about the treasure that people are hunting, so on and so forth. You know, pirates, eccentric millionaires, art thieves, you know, all that kind of jazz. We'll talk about a little bit of that today, and then we'll get into the regular stuff to close out the show, as always.
As always. And I know you guys always look forward to that, so... All right, so do we have a special one that we want to start off with today?
I mean, I've got a few. If you want to go ahead and kick it off, I'll punt it to you.
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this. Uh-oh, my phone is not responding.
Do you need me to take over?
Yeah, go ahead while
this
is trying to think.
So, guys, the first one up, not a pirate treasure, but an eccentric art dealer by the name of Forrest Fenn. Just a little background on our good friend Forrest, not the Gump kind. He was a Air Force pilot with the rank of major in the Vietnam War. After the war, he retired and moved back to New Mexico, where he began in an art house, selling art, an art gallery. That's the word, the art gallery. So he started, operating that with him and his wife, and they sold everything, even stuff they knew was fake. They sold forgeries, blah 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 blah, all this kind of stuff. So in 1988, Forrest Fenn was diagnosed with cancer, and he was like, okay, I'm be dying. So what he did, he devised a set of 9 clues. Clues, riddles, whatever, and drew a rough map, kind of, sort of, and hid treasure in the Rocky Mountains of these old United States.
Ooh.
Now, he's still alive today, so obviously the cancer didn't get him. But since he's put out these 9 clues, people will, try and solve them, and then he'll say yes or no or something along those lines, because he's been interviewed quite a few times over the by people who've heard about this treasure buried somewhere. So he said people have been within 120 feet of the actual location of the treasure, but nobody's found it yet. And he has been stated to go on record. I think the interview was 2016, so a couple years back.
Okay.
He is going to retrieve the treasure once its inflated value is $10 million, if nobody finds it first. Now, like I said, since people have gone to him with the clues, some people think that they've been out of order, because he said he has never said that all 9 clues have not been solved. So technically all 9 could have been solved, but if you solve them out of order or go out of order, it's gonna mess you up in the directions. obviously. And sometimes the people in the separate groups just haven't put it together. So that's this. Oh, and I almost forgot one of the best parts of the story. In about 2009, 2010, I don't know if it was in conjunction with the buried treasure, but
Oh no.
oh, excuse me, a little sleepy there. But in about 2009, 2010, somewhere in that area, the FBI raided his house because they thought he was in cahoots with art smugglers, art thieves, something like that.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't charged or anything, but a little bit of a mystique gets added in there. You know, is there some famous missing art buried in that treasure? We won't know until somebody solves it. But, and then to kind of wrap up the whole mystique behind this, people have died searching for this treasure.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the count is, I don't even know. 4 people are known to have died in this. That's not including the 2 people that the FBI suspect Fenn of quote-unquote committing suicide. So he's, you know, the lead suspect in 2 suicides that are thought to be murders.
Mm-hmm.
But so then the total's up to 6. So people have died looking for this. Like, this is the real deal. Totally authenticated. You know, he has a list of everything that he like a ledger.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an actual list, but that's how he's tracking the amounts. So,
Wow.
if you're ever bored, let's try and figure these clues out and go see our good friend Forrest.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That sounds like super fun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
And his reasoning for doing this, he just wanted to give people hope or give people something to believe in. Mm-hmm. So it's like maybe an adult version of the Goonies, where that's just like, that's a legend. You know, it's not been proven or anything. This is proven.
Yeah.
Gives everybody a little bit of a, oh, hey, we find it, it's ours.
Yeah, exactly.
Give everybody a little bit of hope. I read some of these clues and they don't make any fucking sense. I don't have the list pulled up right now, guys, but we could do a riddle episode about these clues, and maybe.
If we do that and we think we know the answers, we'll post it after we go look.
Or we'll just crowdsource solutions to them.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that a little better.
Yeah, then we can all go. Do a podcast episode up there.
Yeah, I'm not going to podcast while I'm looking for treasure.
After we find the treasure.
Oh, I'll do an interview. I'll retire. I'll be that reclusive millionaire.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Doing podcasts and stuff.
Man, when I was doing research for this, one of the guys that his name came up, he actually has a museum of stuff that he's found out in St. Augustine, world's largest treasure museum. Little segue there. But he hit the jackpot. He was diving and found a old Spanish galleon off of Key West.
Oh, yeah?
Everything they pulled out of there, $500 million worth of stuff.
Oh, my gosh. That is insane.
Nuts, man. Nuts, nuts.
Yeah. You definitely earn that stuff, too. Mm-hmm. With how much you look and how mm-hmm. hard you have to, prepare and everything. Yeah, but it's crazy.
I think he's has a Guinness Book of World Records for the most located treasure,
really,
or not most located treasure ships, but most located ships that are of note.
Yeah,
undiscovered shipwrecks. That's what his world record is. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that $500 million, obviously he didn't get to keep all of it. But yeah. he had finder's fees and stuff because the museums will pay him stuff.
Yeah.
And then now he's got the revenue from his own museum.
Man.
So it's really neat. I checked it out when I went up to St. Augustine before.
I'd definitely like to go see that. That'd be cool. I kind of want to switch to a different area of the world here. Going back in time, too, quite a bit. As a lot of us know, the Nazi armies and everything. No, there's a lot of different stories, okay? Lots of them. This one that I'm going to talk about is a little bit different than most of them that I've heard. Most of the more popular ones. Though this one seems to be pretty popular too. This is the Lake Toplitz treasure.
I'm shaking my head for all you listeners at home there. Shaking my head. That's fine. Continue. I'll hold my 2 cents.
Basically they were retreating. So the Nazi troops were retreating, and they were seen sinking these chests down into the lake as they were fleeing Allied troops. And the contents of the boxes were never known at the time. And researchers at the time also believed that anything from gold to silver to priceless works of art may have been at the bottom of the lake.
So to fill in some blanks here, I'm gonna put my hat on it and claim expert knowledge on this.
Go for it.
I'll just claim to be the expert here, but fill in some blanks here. This is taking place in Austria. It's up high in the Alps, and the reason I shook my head earlier is because I guess you could call this a conspiracy theory that we're going to segue into now, because I'm going to hijack the show. But anyway, I'm one of these people that believes that the lake, I don't even know how to say it, but the Lake
Toplitz.
Yeah, Lake Toplitz, whatever. I'm not cultured.
Yeah.
The Lake Toplitz treasure is an elaborate ruse. What actually happened in the last days of the war, the Nazis had treasure in close proximity to that. However, what they did, they got rid of all their ammo and all that kind of stuff, because at this point in the war, they're fucked.
Yeah.
What they actually were doing was throwing all this shit to cause a slowdown of the Allies, because at this point in the war, the Allies were trying to preserve as much history as they could. Definitely, I would take a backseat to clearing the Germans out.
Yeah.
But if they got a big tip about preserving people's property and famous works of art or stuff of importance, they would devote resources to trying to do that.
Yeah.
So what happened over here, based off of some research I've done and a couple of, before the History Channel was all reality TV, History Channel specials, it caused a slowdown on that bubble of the Allied advance for enough time for these guys to retreat out of the Alps in that section of Austria, and they ended up saving, like, this goes into the Nazi treasure train.
Oh yeah.
They're linked.
Oh yeah.
Because they saved all that stuff there, and that convoy or group of Germans that were leaving Lake Toplitz area were en route to the area that the treasure train left in Austria before, I believe, ended up to what I believe is somewhere in the Czech Republic. Whether it's there or not, cannot confirm or deny that.
Yeah.
Even those guys that found it like a year ago still can't confirm or there's something in there.
Yeah.
But they haven't been able to get in there and check it out. So, but that's my little 2 cents. That's the diversion from the actual treasure, which is in the treasure train. I'm 110% believer in that treasure train.
Oh, I am too. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely something to think about, because even if there is something down at the bottom of the lake that is like actual treasure, I don't think they would have thrown everything out.
But again,
I don't think they could have thrown everything out.
There's two theories. Mine, which is might be a little more crackpot conspiracy theory-esque, or they
were just dumping it.
Yeah, they're just dumping it. And actually, anything that gets dumped into that lake will actually be preserved pretty well because of how cold that lake actually is.
Yeah, because it's way up there, way up high. So Yeah, and it was, for those of you that don't know, it was a naval testing ground for the Nazi army, or for the Nazi government. So, yeah, it was fairly important to the Germans during
because
World War II.
they had some heavy duty bunkers up there that that was going to be their last stand, but then obviously they're like, I want to live.
Yeah.
So
I would too, but yeah, that's one. I always find some of that stuff kind of interesting, especially surrounding, because there was a lot of stuff that was lost during World War II, especially in Germany.
Oh yeah.
And if there's even a fraction of a percent that is preserved and is possible of recovery,
and most of it, not even just German artifacts, it's all over the world, because I mean,
oh yeah,
they raided France, they raided everywhere they conquered, and they took it all back to Germany. So, because Hitler's grand plan was to end up just building art museums in Germany.
Yeah,
that was his plan. He was an arty.
He was an arty.
He was an artsy fartsy guy. Artsy fartsy guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I'll rewind the clock a little more to get to this next treasure. This one kind of confirmed, kind of not. So we'll get. We haven't quite reached legend status yet.
Yeah.
This is a story about Jean Lafitte.
Okay.
Probably one of the most notorious, unheard of pirates. Maybe, I'd say. He did his business in the colonies because he came about. About the colonies. He really got into piracy right around. His first official score was 1780, but he did smuggling and other piracy acts before then.
Yeah.
But that was when he hit the big time. And he kind of takes a backseat to some of the other pirates of that time, like Blackbeard. That's a little late for Blackbeard, but again, this is kind of the end of piracy coming around here, turn of the 1800s, that kind of thing. But basically, he came about. He got scorned by a lady because he was trying to court her, and then one of her other suitors came up and confronted him about it, and then he just stabbed him blatantly. that was it. He introduced himself, and then the guy got stabbed, and the lady saw and was just like, no, don't want anything to deal with you yet ever again. Leave. He left, and then that's how he became the notorious pirate Jean Lafitte. After that, because that was in Charleston, left Charleston, came back into the Gulf, set up shop right out of the Mississippi Delta in Louisiana, which at that time is still Spanish lands. Mm-hmm. Still Spanish or French, whatever, that weird time period in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gets, jobs from the Spanish, the French, whatever, but he does not attack the Americans for whatever reason. There's no patriotic inklings there. He just doesn't do it. Because it doesn't behoove him. Everybody else is real far away. The Americans right there in the back door.
Yeah.
So fast forward a little bit to this little thing called the War of 1812. He at this point he's building up a big old fleet, big old armada. So at this point, he has committed some felonies or whatever, acts of war against the United States shipping and this kind of stuff. He receives a letter. Nobody knows how he got to him. Nobody knows who wrote it, quote unquote. But it was from his love.
Okay.
Her name's Beatrice. It's from Beatrice. So at this point, the letter described a presidential pardon from Andrew Jackson, or presidential pardon, and Andrew Jackson was going to honor it. Because at that point, Andrew Jackson is down fighting the Battle of New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Needs a little bit of help against these guys called the British.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, Jean Lafitte was given an offer by the British of $300,000 and a frigate, which is a big-ass fucking ship. Mm-hmm. And then the rank of captain or some whatever in the British Navy to fight for the British. So he's got conflicting offers, but obviously if his love is writing him to say, hey, I'll be forgiven by me and the United States,
yeah,
you're going to help me out. So after they do the fighting and all that kind of stuff, he goes to Charleston, finds out she's married, is a fake, is a setup, blah blah blah. He comes back, piracy to a new level. He set up a colony, right around Galveston, somewhere in that area, because he was trying to strong arm the Texans, out of the slave market. That's what he was doing. So he tried to strong arm the Texans out of the slave market, and then that's when the U.S. Navy was like, you helped us, but fuck you. we're coming at you. So they surround him, and they give him 5 days to vacate his like colony lands and all that kind of stuff. So what's he doing in his 5 days? He takes all his loot, all his bounty, loads up every ship he has at that moment, which is close to 50. Close to 50 ships of his 500 fleet armada at this point. That's what people say.
Yeah.
But he loaded up 50 ships, sailed them somewhere up a creek, directed them, and then they came back unloaded. So high in the water. This is Navy record. He leaves, never to be seen again, ever. It's suspected he died off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula down in Mexico after a hurricane about a month or maybe a month or two after that point, because he was going to circle back around and reclaim his treasure. But he never did. Never did. So this treasure is somewhere in the vicinity of Galveston or that area of coast along Texas. Nobody's ever found it, but it's presumed to be, millions and millions of dollars worth of goods.
Oh, yeah.
Artifacts, gold, silver, the whole 9 yards.
Man. If we could find that.
I'm saying, man, Jean Lafitte, call me a pirate. Actually, a little fun fact about Jean Lafitte. Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop is a bar in New Orleans, and it is, I believe, the longest continuously run bar in the United States.
Oh, really?
Because that was his place back in the day, and it's always sold some kind of adult beverage, even during Prohibition. Because during Prohibition, it was a blacksmith shop or something along those lines. But if you knock on a, secret door, you get a drink.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. I'm guessing. So, but yeah, that's my pirate treasure. I hope it's real. I like to believe that.
I would too. There's another one that happened in that time period too, 1816, in Bedford County, Virginia. I don't know if you know this one, but this is Thomas Beale. Apparently,
ooh,
yes,
Thomas Beale.
Apparently, and this is just an estimation, but he had a large fortune, which was estimated around $63 million. So it's fairly large, treasure. But basically, he was traveling, or he came into a large sum of gold and silver while mining somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. And that estimated $63 million was in today's money. So lots of money. They wanted to make sure all the money would go to their next of kin should they perish. So what Beale did was he wrote 3 ciphers. Okay, one described the exact location of the treasure. The second described the contents of the treasure. And the third was a list of the men's name and their next of kin. And Beale then entrusted Robert Morris, which he was an innkeeper in Lynchburg, Virginia, with the safekeeping of a box containing the ciphers. Morris was supposed to wait 10 years before opening it. And at that point, if Beale did not return for the box, a key to the cipher was supposed to be mailed to Morris. But he never got it. Morris never got the cipher. Beale never showed up again, or the key to the cipher. So for years, Morris and a friend tried to decode the 3 ciphers, but they could only manage the second cipher, which was the one that was describing the contents of the treasure. $63 million.
Mm-hmm. I've seen those ciphers. It's, whoa.
Yeah.
Because somebody put them online to try and figure them out. And obviously we haven't heard that anybody's found it yet.
No.
So, but that is just such a great story, because of the simple fact that it was a group of 3 guys that, like, they're like, hey, we got all this shit. Let's make sure we're set up.
Yeah.
So, a little segue to another story I know. This one takes place about 1865.
Okay.
Or, no, yeah, about somewhere about in there. Civil War. Nobody's really sure on the exact date. However, a little man named, I can't remember his first name, Captain Mosby. He was one of the first, like, guerrilla leaders, you know. But anyway, Mosby, they call it Mosby's Treasure. He was a cavalry commander in the Confederates, for the Confederates, operating out of Virginia, the Maryland area. Most likely Maryland, that more often than not.
Yeah.
Operated out of Maryland because it's just, they were guerrillas. They, wore gray, that was about it. But they launched raids, and one of their raids, I can't remember the year on it because I don't have it pulled up. This is just going all from memory.
Yeah.
But they raided and sacked a Union detachment. And this detachment was carrying upwards of $300,000 to $500,000 worth of gold at that time. I don't know what that's worth today, but it's worth a hell of a lot more than that. But anyway, Mosby and his men took the treasure, or all the gold, and then on their way back, they hid it in the woods. Mm-hmm. That way they weren't caught, and they were going to go back for it later. The 10 men Mosby sent back to go get it after they cleared the path back to where they were set up, their base or whatever, they got captured and were hung for treason.
Oh, man.
And, being a spy, all that kind of stuff. Mosby never went back for it. Because other than Mosby, those were the only other 10 men alive that knew where it was.
Wow.
What are the odds of that?
Set up.
God, that's an elaborate setup.
That is an elaborate setup, but that's insane.
Mm-hmm. I do have another legit story, though.
Okay.
This one is very, very reminiscent of one of my favorite movies. However, rather than being set in Saharan Africa, it's a little more closer to home in the Mojave Desert.
Okay.
That movie I'm referencing is oh god, Sahara. Yes, that's the name of the movie. Matthew McConaughey and Penelope Cruz, I want to say. But anyway, the gist of that is a ship washes up in the Sahara full of treasure, blah, 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 blah. That's their story.
Yeah.
This, however, so back in the 1800s, this is when the stories started coming out.
Yeah.
But there have been records from the 1600s when this actually happened. The Spanish were exploring the western coast of California and Mexico at that time, looking for pearls. And this guy, I don't know what his name is, Alvarez de Cordon, we'll make it sound a little fancy.
Yeah.
Was sent out there. He hired 2 other guys to go with him. So they got 3 ships, and they're looking for pearls. Hired a bunch of people to go diving for them. At the end of the journey, they're striking out, not getting a lot. End up meeting some Native Americans who have just baskets and baskets of pearls. So this guy's like, hey, I'm going to trade you for those because we don't know where to find them. So what they did, they're like, we'll give you some nice European clothes, fabrics, and stuff for your pearls. And the Americans say, hey, that sounds like a good deal. We'll go ahead and do that. However, Mr. Cordone, being the Spaniard he is, he's like, give them the dirty rags, and we're just going to take everything. So he does that, and as they're trying to sail away, the Native Americans are like, hey, we just got hoodwinked. So what they do, they start attacking him. You know, this guy gets shot with an arrow, poisoned, so he's dying. The ship's destroyed, or being, destroyed. So they have to hurry quick. It's about to sink. They put it on the other two ships. Storm happens as they're sailing away. The other ship, one of the other ships, is damaged. They put all the pearls onto the last one in the case of, they don't want it just to abruptly sink. They're limping along.
Yeah.
But the storm knocks them off course. And at this point, there's myths of a waterway that connects the Gulf of California to the Gulf of Mexico. That very northern end of the Gulf of California. So it's definitely not the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, they're looking for that too or something, and they end up on a river that's flooded because of this storm, and they end up like 1,000 miles inland in the Mojave Desert. And then that's where it just ends, because they were probably attacked or whatever. Mm-hmm. We don't know what happened to the last ship.
Yeah.
So, because the second ship that was injured, they ended up making it back to civilization. But the one ship that was intact never heard from again.
Yeah.
This is not the only ship that is in the Mojave Desert area. Apparently, people did find a Viking ship up there. They think it's a Viking ship.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's been confirmed. But like investigators and stuff did go over there to locate the Viking ship because they found records and stuff of it. So, and they did find the front half of a Viking ship. So the Vikings made it to the Mojave Desert, guys.
Well, they were basically worldwide, though. I mean, they were all over the place.
That's still remarkable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's very
remarkable.
Yeah. Very remarkable. Mm-hmm. Man. They say that there is a very, very good chance that you are related to Vikings.
And if you're not related to a Viking, you're related to Genghis Khan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fourth of the world's population are a descendant of Genghis Khan, I believe. It's either a fourth or a third. Like, goddamn, that guy just... He
never stopped.
No, he ate, he drank, he fought, and he fucked. That was it.
That was it.
That was his life.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn.
What a man.
The man, the myth, the legend. That is actually applicable to Genghis Khan. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Lots of very interesting treasure stories out there. And some of them have been found, some of them have not been. I mean...
Actually, one more thing that I treasure a lot, especially relevant since today's Father's Day. Mm-hmm. Happy Father's Day to all you guys that have those pain-in-the-ass kids.
Like us.
But another treasure near and dear to my heart, dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
All right. Well,
I'll lead it off with a classic. Yo mama's so fat that when she fell, no one was laughing, but the ground sure was cracking up.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Ad popped up. It's fine. Why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil?
I don't know.
Because it's pointless.
I went to the shop the other day to buy 6 cans of Sprite. It was only when I got home I realized I picked 7 up. It sank in. That was a sinker.
Yes, it did. Try to make a sentence out of deduct, defeat, defense, and detail.
What? I like spaced. I'm sorry.
Here we go. Try to make a sentence out of deduct, defeat, defense, and detail.
I don't, what, wait, what, is this a riddle?
No.
Where are you going?
Defeat of deduct went over the fence before the tail.
I was on the phone with my wife and said, I'm almost home, honey. Can you please put the coffee maker on? After about a 20-second pause, I asked, you still there, sweetheart? She said, yeah. She said, yeah, but I don't think the coffee maker wants to talk right now.
Oh. So after dinner, I said, Happy Father's Day. Thanks for having me. My dad said, well, it was an accident.
This is the dad. Little son right here. The dad says, hey, look, he's going to say his first words. His son. Dad. I'm 30 years old. Stop making fun of my stutter.
Oh my gosh. My idiot friend started wearing 2 monocles out in public. I said, you're making a spectacle of yourself.
I don't know why that one was so good. That one was good. Oh. The England football team visited an orphanage in Russia yesterday. It's heartbreaking to see their little faces with no hope, said Vladimir, age 6.
Oh my gosh. Well, that would be funnier if it was seeable. What do you call a farmer that loves his job and makes sweets in his spare time?
Old MacDonald?
No, a Jolly Rancher.
Oh, that's my favorite. I should have known that. Oh, this one's a little lengthy, but it's worth it. I thought my son was spending too much time playing video games, so I stopped him and said, son, when Abe Lincoln was your age, he was studying books by the light of a fireplace. My son replied, yeah, well, when Abe Lincoln was your age, he was the president of the United States. Damn smartass.
Oh, man. Why did they make Moana?
Don't know.
Because Disney made Frozen about Elsa. Oh my gosh, Elsa. And then they thought, we need more Anna.
Okay.
Moana?
Yeah.
Moana? No? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You missed a little hand motion of my hand going over the head there, guys. How much memory does it take to store a joke?
How much?
1 gigabyte.
Oh my gosh. That's bad. Oh my gosh. You know when you see birds flying together in a V shape, there's always that one side of the V that's longer. Do you know why it is?
Because it always slopes left?
No, because there's more birds on that side.
I was trying to make a dick joke. Didn't work too well. What do you call a Mexican midget?
Oh God, what?
A paragraph, because he's not a full essay yet.
Oh my gosh. What? What is the Titanic's favorite type of lettuce?
Iceberg.
Iceberg.
I uploaded some pictures of my butt to iCloud recently. I like to back that ass up.
Ah. Oh. Why did the rapper thank the sidewalks in his acceptance speech?
Don't know.
Because it kept him off the streets.
Classy. Classy. When I was 16, my pissed off dad said he was going to hop behind me all the way to the hospital. I asked him why, and he said he had to get his foot removed from my ass.
Okay, I got another thinker for you. A snobbish criminal walking downstairs is a condescending.
Jokeception. I got a prostate exam, and the doctor said it's normal to have an erection. It was awkward trying to ignore his bulge.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what that means. Okay, I heard that FedEx and UPS are going to team up to make one big conglomerate. They're going to call it Fed Up.
Fed up with your shit. What does the lesbian vampire say to the other lesbian vampire?
Oh God. What?
Same time next month? Come on, how is it? You're not even laughing at it? That's such a good one.
It was a good one.
Oh, man.
What do you call a model undergoing plastic surgery?
I don't know.
A remodel? Don't roll your eyes at me.
All right, I got one last one.
Okay.
There's an actual medical term for when your foot falls asleep.
Yeah.
Comatose.
There you go. What are two horses that are placed next to each other in a stable called?
No idea.
Neighbors.
Let's end this.
Okay, well, since you want to end this, I got a riddle for you.
Good. Good. I need to strangle somebody.
Okay. I am not alive, but seem so, because I dance and breathe with no legs. What am I?
You seem alive?
I am not alive, but seem so, because I dance and breathe with no legs or lungs of my own. What am I?
Ooh, the wacky inflatable guy.
That could be an answer, but he doesn't breathe.
Oh, this thing breathes?
Mm-hmm.
A shirt. Clothing.
Kind of, but it dances on its own, under its own power.
Well, yeah, if you're hang dry in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Under its own power, not the wind power.
God damn it. Tried to save that one, guys.
Though the wind does blow this, or can blow this.
Can you read it again?
I am not alive, but seem so, because I dance and breathe with no legs or lungs of my own. What am I?
Damn, I had an inspiration there from the most fucking dumb riddle you've ever told me. I was going to say something like a river, because I was inspired by the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a river.
No.
Rivers don't breathe. I don't know.
A flame.
God damn it. I'm going to strangle you tonight. Piece of shit.
Oh my gosh. I am rarely touched, but often held. And if you are smart, you'll use me well. What am I?
I want to say something so bad, but I'm not going to.
No, do it. Do it.
No.
Oh.
Can you read it again?
I am rarely touched, but often held. And if you are smart, you'll use me well. What am I?
I'm rarely touched, but always held.
But often held.
Often.
Sometimes it's not held. And if you are smart, you'll use me well.
Memories?
Not really. I mean, it could be.
I don't know.
A tongue. You hold your tongue.
Fuck
And if you're
that.
smart, you use it well.
Fuck that one. Not a fan.
Memories was a good guess, though.
Yeah.
All right, I got one last one. What moves across the land but never has to steer? It has delivered our goods year after year. What is it?
Santa.
But he has to steer.
No, the reindeer do that. He just says, yeah! Yeah! He sings that stupid little song, and then the reindeer just prance away. The reindeer know where they're going. He doesn't do anything. He just says faster or slower.
Okay. I guess you're partially right on that then.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch. God, delivers.
What moves across the land but never has to steer? It has delivered our goods year after year.
fucking musical rhyming bullshit. I don't know.
Coming from where we were, you should know this because you got stopped by them all the time.
A train?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking stupid. That is fucking stupid.
Why?
Trains have to steer just like Santa has to steer, then you cockwagon. Because they need to phone ahead and then they call the little guy to shift it.
Yeah, but the trains themselves do not steer.
Neither does fucking Santa, but that was the wrong answer. Piece of shit.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's all I have on that end. Do you have a special social media craze this week?
No, but I got a new segment. It's called, if it was Wednesday, that'd be more aptly named, but I'm going to call it What You Drinking Wednesday.
Okay.
And this week, I've got two.
Okay.
One for all the locals. That's Sanford, Florida area. For you guys. Little brewery called Wops Hops. Wops House of Hops is the actual name or whatever.
Very good.
The guy's Italian, and he put a derogatory name in his title. Good for him. Knows how to have a good time. Anyhow, it's called the Boki. It's a smoky beer, it's a Rausch style beer. But I like to think of it as I'm drinking a little slice of beef jerky. Mm-hmm. Just a touch, just a little hint of beef jerky in it for you. Very good, very good. Number 2, Lynchburg lemonade. Very simple, very easy to make. Just a little bit of Jack Daniels and then lemonade to your taste.
You were drinking that out on the river, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was, and I was just floating along with it in a nice old jug.
Attaboy. Yeah, that is definitely good. I like that.
So that's what you're drinking Wednesday.
Woohoo! Well, I got one Shannonism for you tonight. You ready for this?
That's it, folks. I'm not listening to this.
He's turned off his hearing aid.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, these professional hitters make it look easy. Sometimes they just stick the bat out and spank the baby.
Gotta spank that baby.
You gotta spank that baby.
If you don't, your ass is gonna be in a jackpot.
Yep. Oh man. Well, it was a fun episode tonight, guys. We had a fun time discussing some buried treasure possibilities. So get out there and do some searching.
Do some digging.
Do some digging.
Hopefully you guys learned a little bit, and you laughed a little bit, and I don't know another L. I'd say loved a little bit, but that might be a little inappropriate coming from us.
Oh, well, who cares?
Fuck it, love a little bit. Get a little bit of action.
Exactly. Go out and do it.
Always a fan, getting some action. Just go out and get it. Just be appropriate. We don't want any Me Too stuff.
As long as it's approved by both parties. Yeah. Stamp of approval on that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. I hope all of the fathers out there had a wonderful Father's Day. And,
get those New Balances dirty.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
All right, guys. Old Man Hoodrich is out. Peace out.
And I'll see you guys next week.